Yeah, it's good, man. He's explosive. He's doing all that stuff. He's learning the package. You know, a lot of these guys that came in the in the spring are a little bit ahead of him in terms of the mental part. Him and Ray John are guys like that. They're going to be fine. Excited about him. You know, excited to watch him just put the ball down and just go tackle people. We just saw the uppers today. He looked good. He's running around. He's dynamic. He's everything that we thought he would be. Now mentally, it's how much can he process, and as a play caller, we got to be smart about how much we give him to. So, work in progress.
How do you help manage the expectations that he carries in you?
I don't know if it's that part of it. I think there's expectations from Vic and myself, and I think I've had guys like him in the past where we can just bring them in, but really at the end of the day, I have to be smart with what we do with them. You know, we're watching him, he's super skillful, and you just got to make sure he's not processing too much. So that's part of my job, is to do that. But I think every day he gets pushed by Vic, and he gets pushed by Nick and the rest of that room, Tooling and those guys. So I think as long as he can kind of weather that storm with what the upperclassmen expect on him, he'll be fine. The expectation won't be that much for him.
How do you feel generally about the interior line depth? I know you lost a couple guys.
Yeah, well, things happen, and I think guys are stepping up. But once again, this is a little bit premature. But we're watching when we actually go into scrimmage. We just had our first inside run today because the first day of shoulder pads. But I'm excited about that. Around here, it's like everybody has earned the right to be on that field, and whether or not you have the skill set to do it. But these guys have worked. Coach Steiner has done a great job with those guys and making them bigger, faster, and stronger. So I'm excited to watch these guys progress. In 3 weeks, we got to shut it down and say these are the guys we're going to San Jose with. So it's once again, it'll be try to get as many guys as possible, and then have some plans just in case we have limited depth.
It seems like Jamar kind of took a step forward, especially from in the spring and going forward.
Yeah,
what have you seen from him?
Yeah, I mean, he's a worker. That's the number one thing. He's accountable. He really cares. He loves the game. So those guys, I mean, like I said beforehand, give me as many of those guys as possible, because he'll find ways to get stunted. Sometimes, he's probably not as pretty looking as Corey, but he's got grit to him. He's going to be exactly where you asked him to be, and he's going to get everything he has. And he's going to develop. I think about Marlon probably when he was a freshman, and as he continued to progress, and some of the other guys that we've had in this program, they're not going to be third-year seniors. It's just not going to happen that way. So we just got to continue to just push him along. But he's doing a really good job. Proud of him.
Last year's camp seemed like a crash course in just teaching the defense after the weird offseason. How different is it this year in terms of where the defense is?
Well, it's different because we had spring football, so a lot of the stuff that we had to teach from a culture standpoint is different. And I think it's really different from what Coach Steiner and his staff have done in the last 3 weeks. So once you have a little bit of shield to your body, a little bit more muscle, faster, you have a little bit more confidence. So when you go on the field, all these things that we might ask you to do in terms of straining to the football or being super physical, sometimes the body doesn't match up that way, and the mind will tell them, hey, we're not doing this. But right now, because they've done such a good job down in the weight room, they feel like they can go all day. And that's the difference it really is. So you get a full cycle of weightlifting, and you get a full cycle of spring football, and then come back and have weightlifting again, and now we're here at this spot. It's different, very different.
Is there anyone whose body transformation through those 9 weeks has really impressed you?
I think all the guys, all the heavy hitters have done a really good job. I think if I look at it, Nick Figueroa coming back was outstanding in the summertime. Ray Scott was outstanding. Just some of the guys that just come to the top of my head. ITS was another guy that I thought had an incredible summer. Those 3 guys were just lights out. They were super consistent, and I thought, really for 9 weeks. Sometimes you get it for 2 or 3 weeks and somebody shuts it down, but those guys went 9 weeks straight and did a great job. What's going on
with Ray and
yeah? So right now we're rolling Ray in, and we're taking a look at Raylan Goforth. So really, those 3 guys and Kanai have all played. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to mix and match those guys to the repetition. But I want to open competition with that position. That's kind of what we did last year. And Ray, when you take a look at it, maybe get a handful more plays because I really like what he did in the summertime. But they're going to be equal. They're going to battle it out all the way through this. And Ray probably doesn't have the flexibility, but Ray Lynn does to be able to go and play middle linebacker too. So those 3 guys are the guys right now. We're working on Davis. Davis is coming along. I feel really good about where he's at right now. We'll see how he scrimmages when he's all by himself. He's starting to come along. So those, that position room is kind of, they've got experience. We're going to make sure that all three of those guys in a pinch we can play. We plan on playing them. And then who's going to be 4, 5, and 6? That's really the thing. So that's what I'm excited to watch, play out this game.
What did you see from Taylor? I could tell.
It's good. I thought he had, a really good summer. And we watched kind of his GPS numbers, and he was in the 20s, which is really good. It's kind of surprised me. He's very smart. He cares a lot. He just needs reps. If you think about his situation, he really hasn't played ball in like 3 years. So it's crazy to think about that. But we're going to try to push him and make him the best player. You guys good?